Tonight, police move to tackle possible security breach in Lagos border areas, mount checkpoints leading to traffic gridlock and tense exchanges with some irate youth following an accident. Start to PDP reconciliation. Governor Nyesom Wike hosts party governors and other stakeholders to a closed-door meeting. Participants are keeping sealed lips. Governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi, wins rerun APC senatorial primary, just as INEC says there will be no extension of the continuous voter registration exercise ending today across the country. Ukrainian grains tycoon Alexei Vodotursky is killed in Russian missile strike in Mykolaiv. We begin tonight from the nation's commercial capital and security issues. In Lagos today, what happened was that the police and residents of some border areas woke to a tale of back traffic in the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the nation's busiest this morning, as police authorities acting on intelligence set up checkpoints at the entrance to the city. One of such checkpoints, where the authorities were looking to stop the possible smuggling of weapons by unsavory elements set to be preparing to wreak havoc, was where a truck had an accident leading to a face-off between the authorities and some irate youth.
Residents of the border areas of Isheri, Berger, Olowora and environs where Lagos and Ogun State have a border woke up on Sunday morning to witness heavy traffic at the Kara end of the Lagos-Ibadan highway on both sides. On approach, a trailer could be seen blocking the inbound lanes of the expressway. The reason for the hours of standstill? On the side, lights this accidented sugar-laden truck, leading to why the highway was blocked by some irate youth from the nearby Kara market with another trailer. Those at the scene told Channels Television that the accident was caused by the police.
The driver said he's coming along the route around 6:30 this morning. Where he passed the bridge, he tried to hold the motor and not brake.
The police position is completely different. The spokesman of the Lagos State Command, Benjamin Hunde, says the force was reacting to intelligence received, which indicated that there might be a breach of security in Lagos through that axis and that they were being proactive.
All the entry points, we built up security. But it so happens that this truck conveying sugar was approaching the stop and search point. It hadn't even got there, but lost its brake and veered off the road and fell on its side.
The traffic build-up by the police action also seeking to check incoming trucks, particularly those carrying food items, through which weapons might have been smuggled, as well as the reaction of the youth mentioned earlier, generated some tension.
The Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, has mobilized the State Intelligence Bureau, SIB, in Lagos State, and all area commanders and DPOs and tactical commanders, especially DPOs in border towns. He has also enjoined Lagosians to also be very watchful and report the slightest suspicious thing noticed.
Meanwhile, the youth also attacked Channels Television crew who were at the scene. After a couple of hours, security agencies had reinforced their presence to forestall any further breakdown of law and order. The head of Kara Market, from where the youths who blocked the expressway came from, Muhammad Bassi, arrived the scene and pleaded with the youth to reopen the expressway. On the other side of the border, the authorities in Ogun State also say they are on high alert for attempts to breach security. Police Public Relations Officer in Ogun State, Abimbola Oyeyemi, says the force will react decisively to any further attempt to prevent the police from carrying out its duties.
The leadership of that market we have been talked to. We are discussing with them, and we've made our stand known to them that we are not going to tolerate any act that is going to make life difficult for other members of the public. Where your own rights stop That is where other people's rights started.
Back at the Kara axis, both the accidented truck and that used by the youth to block the road are removed, and traffic begins its slow but steady return to normalcy. What appears to be paramount is the need for continuous communication by security agencies when they have actionable intelligence, while the citizens must cooperate with such authorities and not take laws into their hands. After all, security is said to be everybody's business.
And in light of the recent unabated terrorist attacks on Nigeria's federal capital territory, Abuja, and its neighboring states, Senator Sani Musa, representing the Niger East Senatorial District, and a former national chairmanship aspirant of the All Progressives Congress, is calling for the sack of the National Security Advisor for failing to act promptly on available intelligence. Senator Musa alleges that the intelligence was shared about plans of terrorists to building operation cells around Abuja and other nearby states, but the National Security Advisor failed to act on the intelligence. He argues that it's time officers placed with the task of securing the nation are held accountable. Senator Musa also called on the need to re-strategize the country's security architecture. He was guest on our program, Sunday Politics.
Is it last year or early this year, my governor cried loud that there is an infiltration of Boko Haram terrorists creating cells within Niger State. The same Bukati that you've shown now had also raised that alarm. I had a meeting with Bukati in London where he gave me certain facts about the activities of Boko Haram within the north-central Nigeria with the Ansarus. And he clearly told me that that intelligence had been shared. What proactive action has the NSA done? We will have to call a spade a spade. If I am the NSA's national security advisor in this country, I would tender my resignation because I have failed. I have failed.
What do you think he needed to have done that he's not doing?
When they are creating cells, you do not wait until when you are attacked, then you act. This intelligence that is being shared is an information, pre-information given to you at a stage where these culprits have not concluded their motives, their plans, and you neutralize them. Is it what is happening? So, for me, I believe that we need to re-strategize.
Staying with security issues, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has directed the suspension of the Ohi of Egoing, who is also the chairman of the Ajaokuta Traditional Area Council, His Royal Highness Alhaji Musa Isa Achuja, with immediate effect. In a press release, the Chief Press Secretary says the governor's decision, which is contained in a letter to the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, also directed that the chairman of Ajaokuta Local Government Area, Mustafa Akaba, be queried over the breach and should reply within 24 hours. According to the statement, the governor's directive against the affected persons is in connection with the recent security breach in the area, which led to the killing of some security personnel on their legitimate engagements of maintaining law and order. Governor Bello warned other traditional rulers across the state who may have connection in one way or the other with criminal elements in their domain to desist forthwith, adding that his administration will deal ruthlessly with anyone who romances with criminal elements, no matter how highly placed they are. The governor also placed a ban on all unofficial movements of the local government council chairmen out of their territory and other journeys without due process. The Christian Association of Nigeria in the 19 northern states and Abuja has expressed concern over the spate of insecurity in the country. A statement signed by Secretary General Sunday Oibe says the group laments how bad insecurity has gotten. The terrorists can threaten to kidnap the president and a state governor. According to the CAN scribe, if the bloodthirsty terrorists can threaten to abduct President Muhammadu Buhari and the Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, then no one in the country is safe. He therefore calls on the president to rise to the occasion by living up to his constitutional responsibility of protecting lives and property of citizens and defending the sovereignty of Nigeria. He further asked the presidency and the National Assembly to stop living in denial as the country is on the verge of collapse, saying that urgent and proactive steps must be taken to save the situation as nowhere is safe. Staying with the theme for tonight, the chairman of the FCT chapter of the Nigeria Medical Association, Dr. Enema Amodu, is calling on the federal government to take proactive measures aimed at stemming the tide of insecurity in the country. He was addressing a news conference in Abuja ahead of the association's annual general meeting, where he says a bold incursion into the nation's capital by terrorists is becoming worrisome and needs to be addressed urgently. Dr. Nema adds that beyond the security situation, the association will critically examine issues stifling the development of healthcare in Nigeria, particularly the National Health Insurance Authority Act.
The NMAFCT also want to use this opportunity to call on the federal government to take very definite and decisive measures to curb the evolving menace of insecurity within the FCT and its environs. Very lately, there has been very bold incursions into the FCT, and we all know this will go a long way to negatively impact on the socio-economic indices of FCT and, by extension, the nation. This is the 38th year of Nigerian Medical Association FCT existence, and for the theme for the annual general meeting this year, we are focusing on the National Health Insurance Authority Act, exploring the potentials for bridging the gap in universal health care coverage. This is a bill that has been put forward by one of our own, the Senate Committee Chairman on Health, Senator Dr. Ibrahim Oloriegbe. And we have invited
A look at the possibility of incorporating traditional leaders into the nation's security architecture should be taken seriously as a way of tackling security challenges, particularly at the grassroots. A view of the 21st Olu of Warri Ogeme Atuashe III. The monarch told Channels Television's Ladi Akredulale in our current affairs program Newsnight that because this was the situation before, there is nothing wrong with a look back to see what aspects work. He also weighed in on the youth unemployment and its link to the current security situation.
I think a lot has to be considered with an open mind. We have a constitution as it is. A lot will argue that it's flawed and certain things were omitted. That's fine. But those who put it together with the best they had available to them. They put a framework together. And I believe constitutions should be living and breathing documents with time when it is glaring to all beyond a shadow of a doubt that changes need to be made. I think everybody should come together and say, okay, how can we make a change that improves on what was previously existing? And as you said, there once was a constitution that officially recognized our role as traditional rulers. And I think it is gradually going back in that direction. It's being considered, and I would encourage that it should be, because we are only here for the benefit, for the betterment, for the improvement of this nation, nothing more. I don't even know if calling it a ticking time bomb is appropriate anymore, because it's getting so close. What is the unemployment rate right now? 30-something%?
Yeah.
And we have a very young population. These young men and women have energy and they have time. And if they are not using their energy and time in a productive direction, then you can be sure it's going to be in a counterproductive direction. It's just simple logic. And so while it's not a situation that is unique to Nigeria.
You can watch the full interview with Olu of Warri on Newsnight. It airs tomorrow, Monday, August 1st, 2022, at 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. In part two, after the break, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal meets former President Olusegun Obasanjo in Abeokuta as preparations for campaigns for 2023 heat up. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If it has joined us, watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Police move to tackle possible security breach in Lagos border areas, mounts checkpoints leading to traffic gridlock, and tense exchanges with some irate youth following an accident. Start to PDP reconciliation. Governor Nyesom Wike hosts party governors and other stakeholders to a closed-door meeting. Participants are keeping sealed lips. Governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi, wins rerun APC senatorial primary. Just as INEC says there will be no extension of the continuous voter registration exercise ending today across the country. And Ukrainian grains tycoon Oleksiy Vodotersky is killed in Russian missile strike on Mykolaiv. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to direct the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, to withdraw the threat to sanction the BBC and Daily Trust over their documentaries on terrorism in the country. Mr. Mohammed had on Thursday stated that the federal government would sanction the BBC and Trust TV for airing documentaries that allegedly glorify, promote and fuel terrorism and banditry in Nigeria. SERAP maintains that it is the duty of the media to report issues of public interest, and carrying out the threat to sanction the organizations would not be in the interest of the public. The rights group argues that the media organizations and journalists should be given the latitude to determine how best to present information of public interest, especially as it relates to growing violence and killings across the country. It adds that carrying out the threat to sanction the BBC and Daily Trust will stifle divergence in opinion and information dissemination. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Air Force says it's concluding arrangements for the establishment of an aircraft manufacturing plant in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, as part of efforts to develop and expand the nation's aviation sector. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, made this known during the matriculation ceremony of students of the Air Force Institute of Technology in Kaduna State. Air Marshal Amao said the discussions are already ongoing with the relevant foreign partners on the project. He says the Nigerian Air Force relocated its research and development center from Kaduna to Osogbo early this year to leverage on the vibrant machine tools industry located in the city.
I will use this forum to notify you that the Nigerian Air Force relocated its research and development center from Kaduna to Osogbo early this year to leverage on the vibrant machine tools industry in Osogbo. Since then, the unit has witnessed rapid expansion with the recent handover of the runway and airport corridor by the Governor of Osun State. Furthermore, the Nigerian Air Force intends to develop an aviation city in Osogbo. Discussions are already ongoing with necessary foreign partners, and work will commence as soon as agreement is reached.
We're veering into politics now, as the Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, today hosted a crucial meeting with governors of the People's Democratic Party who coordinated his presidential campaign at the Rivers State Governor's Lodge in Abuja. Those at the meeting included Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Governor Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State, Governor of Enugu State Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. Others are former Governor of Cross River State Donald Duke, former Governor of Benue State Gabriel Suswom, former Ondo State Governor Olusegun Mimiko, former Bayelsa State Governor Seriake Dixon, Ibrahim Idris of Kogi State, and former Plateau State Governor John Ajang. Addressing journalists after the meeting, former Minister of Information Professor Jerry Gana outlined what transpired behind closed doors.
I'm delighted that on behalf of this group to confirm that we have met together for the first time after the primaries of the People's Democratic Party. We have frankly reviewed matters among ourselves. We want to confirm that we are solidly together as a group, and we also want to let the nation know that we shall keep our people briefed as developments unfold. And therefore, this is a very brief statement on behalf of our group that we are very, very delighted to have had this meeting, to have exchanged views, to have reviewed matters, and we know that developments will unfold, and as they do, we shall honestly and properly brief the nation. I want to thank you very much for your attention.
Meanwhile, the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal today visited former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo in what was described as a meeting on national issues. The meeting at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in the residence of the former president also held behind closed doors. A statement by his Special Assistant on Media, Kehinde Akinyemi, said Governor Tambuwal arrived at about 1:30 p.m. with some of his key aides and immediately went into the meeting with the former president. The duo came out at about 2:40 p.m. and briefly hinted that the meeting was on national issues. He later took his lunch with his entourage and headed for the mosque inside the complex to observe prayers before leaving. And a political associate of the Sokoto State Governor and Chairman of Tangazai Local Government Area, Mr. Isa Kalanjine, and 8 councillors of the local government have defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. A statement by the APC leader in Sokoto State, Senator Aliyu Wamako, says that the leader and other party leaders received the defectors at Gawannama in Sokoto State. While welcoming them into the party, Senator Wamako said they will be carried along for the development of the party and the state as a whole, and that the APC will emerge victorious in next year's election. To the southeast now, where Governor David Umahi has won the All Progressives Congress ticket for Ebonyi's South Senatorial Zone in a fresh primary election, which took place at the Afikpo North Local Government Headquarters today. This exercise comes as the Abakaliki Division of the Federal High Court, which had earlier struck out a suit by Governor David Umahi, seeking to be recognized as the Ebonyi South Senatorial District candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Following that pronouncement, Justice Fatun Riemann therefore ordered a fresh primary election to produce a candidate for the Ebonyi South Senatorial Zone within 14 days for the APC. The governor scored 250 votes to emerge victorious at the primary poll under the watchful eyes of security operatives and party supporters. Much earlier, the chairman of the APC electoral panel, Professor Emmanuel Adebayo, said 5 contestants participated in the fresh primary election of the party. The contestants included Austin Umahi, David Umahi, Anne Agomeze, Ibiam Margaret, and Chico Elizabeth. Declaring the result of the election, Professor Adebayo said Umahi polled a total of 250 votes to emerge the winner of the election, while Ezenwaye scored 3 votes, Wakego scored 5, and 7 votes were declared invalid.
Let me thank all of you, the entire people of Ebonyi State, who defied even the rain to come outside the way the exercise happened and are still there under the rain, singing to thank each and every one of you very, very seriously. This ticket is a very strong ticket.
To the electoral umpire, the INEC says it will not extend the continuous voter registration exercise beyond July 31st. This was disclosed by the INEC National Commissioner in charge of Information and Publicity, Mr. Festus Okoye, in Awka, the Anambra State capital, during the Commission's supervision of the concluding part of the ongoing CVR exercise in the state. According to Mr. Okoye, the permanent voters' cards will be issued to persons who registered between January and June this year, in October, and others who registered later in November.
At the Independent National Electoral Commission State Headquarters in Awka, the Anambra State capital, the National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education is on hand to supervise the continuous voter registration exercise just before the deadline. Thereafter, during a press briefing, he intimates journalists on the success recorded so far in the state since the exercise commenced.
For Anambra State, as at the 25th day of July 2022, a total of 276,767 registrants have completed their registration. For fresh registrants, we recorded a total of 133,009 fresh registrants. Those who carried out transfers stood at 3,601. Those who came for update of their own personal details stood at 1,423. Those who came for replacements of PVCs stood at 11,533. And the figure for persons with disability stood at 7.
The National Commissioner, who also supervises Abia and Benue CVR exercise, explains the need to end voter registration to avoid disrupting the schedule of activities which can affect next year's general elections.
If the Commission continues with the CVR, it will do damage to our timetable and schedule of activities, and we cannot afford that as we move towards the 2023 general election. And so we have to terminate this particular exercise at a certain point in time.
For INEC, they have made their considerations and are resolved to ensure nothing alters the distribution of voter cards in the 774 local government areas of the country for timely pickup by eligible citizens.
Still ahead on the news at 10, what have some university students been doing in the 5 months that their institutions have been under lock and key as a result of the ASUU strike? We'll be finding out from some of them what they have been doing. That's in a moment. To join us again. Welcome back. The Kogi State government has restated its commitment towards judicial reforms to enable less privileged citizens and residents of the state have access to justice free of charge. The Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Kogi State, Ibrahim Mohammed, stated this while declaring open a 2-day capacity building workshop for stakeholders of public defenders and Citizens' Rights Commission in Lokoja, the capital.
A very wide reach.
The need for access to justice for indigent persons is a reason for this training workshop organized by the Kogi State government. The seminar intends to improve the competency of stakeholders to design a strategic 4-year plan which will guide the Office of the Public Defenders and Citizens' Rights in its role of providing access to justice for residents of Kogi State. Members of the Public Defenders and Citizens' Rights Commission, representatives from the Ministries of Women Affairs and Justice, as well as security agencies, are all taking part in this brainstorming session.
I don't know why they are not clapping for us.
The Director General of the Public Defender explains the role of the Commission, which was established in 2019.
Developing a document such as this requires some level of training. It requires some level of scholarship. And I think everybody who is here has come to have his capacity scaled up.
The representative of the Attorney General and the Commissioner for Justice in Kogi State says the establishment of the commission is a deliberate policy of the present administration to have a separate and distinct institution to promote and protect human rights in Kogi State.
On the part of government, we shall continue to give all supports to the commission to enhance its success. I wish all participants a very successful session, and for all the resource persons and other facilitators
I say a big thank you.
In a goodwill message, the chairman of the Governing Council of the Commission appeals to participants to take advantage of the workshop to improve their knowledge and actualize the mandate of the Commission.
You will all agree with me that a healthy justice sector is key to the development of our nation. What we are here to do today is our contribution to a healthy justice sector. I therefore want to congratulate all of you for being part of this history.
The two-day workshop is expected to produce a 4-year strategic plan which will define the future of the Commission as it strives to provide free legal services to indigent persons in Kogi State.
Over the past 5 months, students of public universities have been at home following the industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. However, some of the students have found ways to engage themselves during the enforced break from academic activities. In this special report, we speak to some of them to see how they're being engaged.
The roads are lonely, and the silence in the classrooms across public universities in the country is deafening. The classrooms are under lock and key. A peep through the window into the classroom shows dusty chairs and desks, clear evidence that the classrooms have not been used for any academic activities for some time. Students like Feintola Oluwa, a 400-level student of estate management at the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State, are finding an alternative since she can't be in school due to the industrial action by lecturers.
I started my learning graphic design properly in April. Then I did a lot of personal projects. So I designed a logo for somebody that she's into plants. She sells plants, so I designed a logo for her and I started to post it on Twitter, and from there it blew up. I got a lot of responses.
Like Feintola, the strike is having psychological and financial impact on Prince Agbola, a 400-level law student at the University of Abuja. Thanks to this job in a hotel, he's finding a way to deal with the frustration of idleness.
You can't just stay at home, like you have to go out and hustle. Because the strike, you being at home self alone, depression will just get to you. Like you being at home, depression will get to you. So you have to like go out and hustle. Like I've gone through like different jobs just within the space of this 6-month strike. I've done different jobs. I've worked in the hotel. I've done different things just to make money during the strike. Because it's really bad for like students to be at home during this period.
Jada Christopher, a student of industrial design at the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, Kaduna State, is also not letting the strike take the shine of her life.
I've been trying to get my hands on some jobs. I have a summer school job in August lined up for me, and I also try to practice some art and craft jobs like painting on materials, painting on clothes, try to work on my aesthetic value on my designs and also how it can be utilized. The government really needs to do something about it because we have to go back to school. We need to go back to school. It's very essential. We need to finish what we already started. We can't be going halfway each and every time we start something. So we beg the government that they should help and do whatever they can so that we can go back to school.
As the saying goes, when two elephants fight, the grass suffers.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have intercepted about 2.7 million tablets of tramadol weighing 1,650 kilograms worth 1.3 billion naira at the Apapa port in Lagos. The consignment, packed in 55 cartons of various types of tramadol, was seized during examination of a container following credible intelligence. In the same vein, efforts by anti-narcotic officers at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, also stopped suspected drug traffickers from exporting various psychoactive substances to London, the UK and Dubai through the Lagos airports in the past week, where at least 5 suspects have so far been arrested. Meanwhile, the UAE-bound passenger, Ms. Gloria Osinemesheng, was arrested with sachets of 225 milligrams of tramadol concealed inside cassava flour known as gari and other foodstuff discovered in her luggage. Also on the same day, a Dubai-bound female passenger, Emebradu, previous Rachel, was arrested with 1.8 kilograms of cannabis packed inside bitter leaves in her luggage while attempting to board a Rwandan air flight to the UAE via Kigali. These are among other seizures by operatives across the country in Adamawa and in Abuja as well. Information and communication technology have been described as a major sector creating jobs for graduates of both secondary and tertiary institutions globally. In this report, our correspondent examines the impact of the Northeast Development Commission ICT training centers and the progress of work on the establishment of 18 mega schools across the Northeast region.
Thousands of youth are said to be unemployed as a result of their inability to secure white-collar jobs after graduation. Determined to address the situation, the Northeast Development Commission, after establishing several ICT centers across the region, is graduating 200 of the Batch C beneficiaries in Gashua, Northern Yobe State.
End of the graduation today, we are going to give each one of you a certificate based on your chosen vocation. If you are into graphics, you have the computer and the printer, and if there are any other accessories. If you are into repairs of handsets, you have the modern kits so that you can use it.
The beneficiaries, who were handed certificates and starter packs after graduation, share their experience on the skills they've acquired to be self-reliant.
This will help my family because in this program I studied computer graphics design. As a woman, as a lady, I can sit down in my home, design invitation card, design calendars, and people will pay me my money while me sitting down in my home.
I had a lot of knowledge and experience, such as like a PowerPoint, Excel, and CorelDRAW. I can use PowerPoint to make some animation, like pictures, displaying pictures and videos and whatever. And also I can use Excel to launch a voucher.
After the graduation, the Managing Director, NEDC, hands over 24 and 18-seater utility buses to the Federal University Gashua to support the transportation service before proceeding to inspect one of the 18 mega schools under construction.
We came here some few months back, and this place is just a virgin land, and now you can see structures. And our engineers, both our consultants and internal engineers, have given us satisfaction that this building is well constructed. Definitely with some new buildings, you may have some challenges, which for me is not very major issues, which the contractors will be able to amend it, and before finally we accept the building. But generally speaking, we're happy.
The construction of the mega school is a move towards assisting the state government's drive to provide qualitative and affordable education for the communities affected by Boko Haram insurgency.
About 22,000 persons are to benefit from the World Bank and the federal government's COVID-19 intervention stimulus package in Taraba State. A program is to empower poor and vulnerable households affected by the impact of the pandemic. Governor Darius Ishaku says this at the opening of the capacity building workshop for technical staff of the Nigeria COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus in Jalingo, the state capital.
Some Nigerians are still recovering from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, be it from job losses or revenue losses from businesses during and after the lockdown. Reprieve has come the way of those adversely affected in Taraba State through a program jointly designed by the federal government and the World Bank to cushion the harsh impact of the pandemic on the country's economy. At an in-house capacity building workshop for Taraba NG Care staff, the state governor, Darius Ishaku, says about 2,740 households are to benefit from livelihood grants of the program, with over 22,000 persons expected to be enrolled. Represented by the State Commissioner for Budget and Planning, the governor says the state has received the sum of 900 million naira for this program, which will be disbursed through 4 platforms.
To fast-track the implementation of the program, my government approved the flag-off of the 2022 wet season input distribution to farmers. That is disbursement link indicator 2.1 under Fadama delivery platform. But having studied all the submissions of the delivery platforms and the interface I had with them individually and collectively, I saw that there was a need for further technical support in terms of capacity building for the officers that will be implementing the program.
The National Coordinator, NG Cares, expresses optimism that the program will be efficiently executed in Taraba State.
NG Cares is designed as before deliberately. It is designed to be fast disbursing. That is within 2 years. And hopefully now, within the remaining 11 months or so, whatever we have, we want the whole of the 750 million to be disbursed. Fast disbursal. To enable that fast disbursement, the federal government requested the World Bank to give the states advance. So all the states participating in the FCT have been given advance. So that you don't need to wait for your own resources to start. Even some states with the advance, they can already start working. And when the idea comes, they will make a little bit more money than what has been given to them if they do well.
The program is to run for 2 years, and the delivery platforms for its implementation in Taraba State include the Community and Social Development Agency, Special Grant Transfer, Fadama, as well as small and medium enterprises.
The federal government says 18 billion naira has been expended on the National Social Investment Program for 183,193 beneficiaries in Niger State over the last 7 years. A focal person for the program in the state, Amina Gwa, made this known when beneficiaries staged a 2-kilometer road thank you march. She explains that 25,888 people have so far benefited from the N-Power program, while 80,000 households benefited from conditional cash transfer. A focal person adds that the National Social Investment Program has improved the livelihood of hundreds of women and youth in the state, as the focal office has put in place strict monitoring mechanisms to ensure beneficiaries remain responsible and accountable.
What motivated us to go out to bring out the beneficiaries is that despite the hard work the minister is doing, and we are also doing, some people are still out there saying that the SIP does not exist, that it is just a scam. And that is why they are here, so that if they cannot hear, they will see. And if they cannot see, they will hear our noises. That is why one of the reasons why we've called out some of the beneficiaries. This crowd that you are seeing, they are just from 2 local governments. For homegrown school feeding, we have over 14,000 beneficiaries. For cash transfer, we have over 80,000 households beneficiary. For N-Power, we have about batch C, we have about 13,000 beneficiaries. And Jeep, we have about 58 beneficiaries.
Besides its huge endowments in oil and gas, Saudi Arabia also has potentials in tourism, especially in its eastern provinces. The coastal districts of Khobar, Dammam, Dharan and Al-Hassa are dotted with amazing tourist attractions in architecture, landform, monuments and agriculture. Our correspondent Abubakar Salihu visited the 5,000-year-old city Al-Hassa, which, besides sitting on the world's largest oil reserve, has remarkable dates palm plantations, as well as wonderful mountains and caves.
The launch of the Hijrah exhibition, which attracted the high and mighty in the Saudi kingdom, takes place within this architectural masterpiece, the Al-Ithra Cultural Center. The building, shaped like stacked oil-bearing rocks, symbolizes prosperity and unity while standing near the country's first oil well. Rising 90 meters above the Dhahran skyline, the Al-Ithra Cultural Center houses museums and galleries in its lower part, while hosting theater and a cinema in its middle part and a library at the top, thereby representing the past, present and the future. Some of the organizers of the exhibition shed light on its objectives and effects.
Not only do we want to retrace the footsteps of the Prophet, peace be upon him, but also to tell the story through cultural memory, to generation upon generation of Muslims around the world have thought about the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his Hijrah in very unique ways, and they've creatively expressed that through visual and literary culture. And so we try to present that in the exhibition.
We believe that throughout this exhibit and the material that we've done there, utilizing artists and experts from more than 20 other countries, this will provide hopefully a global view that can be enjoyed and understood and consumed by the visitors of the exhibit, regardless of their background.
One of the participants at the exhibition bear her mind on its essence.
When Hazrat Muhammad left his home and went to Medina, Ansar welcomed him. And there was a strong relation between Ansar and refugees. But if today we see countries like Kashmir, Palestine, Afghanistan, refugees are facing a lot of problems.
Since the aim of initiating the King Abdulaziz World Cultural Center is to draw self-recognition to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in areas of knowledge, creativity and cross-cultural engagement, it is hoped that the Jesta will pave way for greater collaboration, growth and development for humanity. From King Abdulaziz World Cultural Center, Al-Hijrah in Dhahran, Eastern Province of Saudi Arabia, Abubakar Salihu reporting for Channels Television News.
Saudi Arabia to South Africa, where the list of frustrated Nigerians awaiting the outcome of their visa applications is growing. More applications are, however, being accepted by the missions in the country via e-applications and physical ones. A South African Home Affairs Department blames the unending delays on a backlog due to understaffing at its missions abroad. It's been made worse by a new policy of a centralized approval in Pretoria. According to Nigeria's Consul General in Johannesburg, Mr. Andrew Idi, the huge volume of the Nigerian side is also a factor. We asked him about any form of intervention or engagement from Nigerian authorities.
Nigeria, South Africa has a binational commission, right? And under that framework, there's this monthly consultations.
Which hardly holds?
No, we do. It holds every month between the High Commission in Pretoria and the Consulate General in Johannesburg, that's on the Nigerian side, and on the South African side, the Foreign Ministry, Immigration, Police, and the other related departments. It's entirely to address issues of consular and immigration, given the very peculiar and sensitive nature of our relations on this level. We do have these regular meetings. The challenge with the issuance of South African visas, first, is that the approving mechanism is centralized. The Home Affairs Ministry here in Pretoria must approve the visas before they are usually issued. Unlike the situation in most Nigerian missions, that the missions exercise much more autonomy over the issuance of visas. So the processes usually are faster compared to the South African processing mechanism. Yes.
But at that meeting, have they given you a reason? You must have tabled the issue of the complaints of Nigerians.
It's about the huge volume of our applications. It's about the huge volumes. At some point, based on the pressure we exacted on the South African authorities, they had to deploy an additional immigration officer to Pretoria to assist to clear backlog of applications.
And one of Ukraine's richest businessmen, Oleksiy Volodarsky, and his wife have been killed in a Russian shelling in the southern city of Mykolaiv. A couple died when a missile hit their home overnight. Mykolaiv Mayor Alexander Senkevich said it was probably the heaviest Russian bombardment of the city so far. The city has been hit repeatedly since the Russian invasion began on February 24. President Volodymyr Zelensky's office said he believed the businessman was targeted by the Russian forces. There was also damage to a hotel, a sports complex, 2 schools and a service station, as well as homes in Mykolaiv. It's gold number 2 team for Team Nigeria at the ongoing 22nd Commonwealth Games holding in Birmingham. Folashade Lawal this evening clinched Nigeria's 2nd gold in the women's 59-kilogram weightlifting event, setting a new Commonwealth Games record of 206 kilograms. Team Nigeria have won a total of 3 medals, all from weightlifting. Nigeria's men's table tennis team have qualified for the semi-finals of the Commonwealth Games after coming from behind to beat Malaysia 3-2. Our sports correspondent Austin Okonapan has the post-match reactions of that remarkable comeback as they look ahead to their next opponents, India.
Team Nigeria has qualified for the semi-final of the men's table tennis team event. It was a nervy encounter, but they had to get the job done.
And to get to the semi-final is not an easy thing. The whole boys, they tried their possible best at putting their effort. With glory of God, we were able to skate through.
Jide Omotayo is beaming with confidence. He has Aaron Okwodri and other teammates by his side. But playing against India in the semis will be a very difficult test.
We've played them so many times, but the last time we played them, we didn't play with Aruna, and this time around we have Aruna with a lot of experience, and you know, he has a lot to bring to the table. So with him, I have full confidence that we are ready to destroy anyone here.
We have to plan very well how we can defeat India. You know, we have defeated them in the Glasgow. You remember, we know in the bronze match, because we plan for them and then we succeed. That is how we plan for them here, and then we will succeed.
Nigeria won silver in the men's team event at the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia. Guess who stopped them? India. Will they be on a revenge mission this time around? At the National Exhibition Center in Birmingham, Austin Okonapan, Channels Television News.
While England has won a major women's tournament for the first time, as Chloe Kelly's extra-time goal secured a 2-1 victory over Germany at a sold-out Wembley earlier today. In front of a record crowd of 87,192 for any match in the history of the European Championships, Kelly prodded home a loose ball from close range to end English football's 56-year wait for a World Cup or Euro victory. England looked set for a victory in the 90 minutes when substitute Ella Toon's sublime chip over Melly From's put the hosts in front. Germany showed remarkable resilience to bounce back as Lena Magol leveled 11 minutes from time. And the main news again. Police today mounted checkpoints in some border areas leading to Lagos, the nation's commercial nerve center. The police says this is part of a move to tackle possible security breach in the city. And efforts, however, resulted in a gridlock, an accident and tense exchanges. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike today hosted PDP governors and other party stakeholders to a closed-door meeting where participants have maintained sealed lips. That's it on the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Amarachi Rubani. Good night.